Hey everybody, happy Wednesday evening stream. Welcome to the beginning of our streaming week. Also welcome to me having a new streaming setup and trying to figure out where the heck am I supposed to look. I think I should look here. We're going to try this. So hi everybody, hope everyone has had a fantastic weekend. Of course, we missed you all on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday because those are our days of rest and being dark, but we are so happy to be back with you all on stream this evening. So people who are watching, can you sound off for me? Let me know how's my volume, how's my video, is everything doing okay? Because like I said, new streaming setup, the computer got shipped from Chicago, new monitor, new all everything. So yeah, how am I doing? Peeps, let me know. So what we're doing tonight is a wire working project. We are doing our mermaid scale. Do I really have this project on my stream? Oh, I do. It's the second thing. Mermaids. Oh dear. That's not right. That's not even close to being right. Hold on. Let me fix. Oh goodness, the joys of everything. Yes, that's the one. Okay, this is today's project. So that is our today's project is our mermaid scale necklace. So it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a pretty easy one. I'm somewhat concerned that I've had no comments. Hold on. Okay. Big echo. Oh dear. The microphone is really annoying with the echoing. Okay. One second. We'll see if we can fix that. I remember fixing it last time by changing where it was plugged in. So. I have lots of cords. That was not the right one at all. That's one. Ouch. No echo now. That's funny. Okay, so how is it now? Is there an echo or do I still have an echo or am I good? Because I think when I unplugged the mic, it reverted to some other, probably camera audio. Oops, no echo, rock and roll. Oh my God, still the tech, so freaking princessy. Like, no, the mic doesn't like to be plugged into the back of the computer. It likes to be plugged into the top of the computer, and the hand cam also does not like the back of the computer. It likes to be plugged into the top of the computer. Oh my God, tech is like a toddler. So hey y'all, this is my new streaming rig. I'm very excited because I have so many USB ports. I have USB ports for everything, for my Stream Deck, for all of the cams for the Heather cam, which there's not a Heather on the other side, so I'm not going to pull up the Heather cam, but there's definitely a Heather cam, USB port, and yes, so exciting. Actually, Scott, it did have that problem at your house. I just fixed it while you were putting Fee to bed. So, because it did, I had to switch it from the back to the top when I was in Chicago as well. So welcome to the Beating Dreams Wednesday evening live tutorial stream. Hope everyone has had a fantastic weekend. Let's do this project. So again, this is the Mermaid scale necklace. It's going to be fun times because there is hammering involved. Everybody loves hammering, and also you know, wire working and loads of fun. And that's not the right frame. That's the right frame. I have to get used to the stream deck again. Also, I really have to get used to, like, where am I looking, because it's like the display is there and the camera is there. So, you know, it's going to be a process of adjustment, but we're going to figure it out. So let's talk tools and supplies for this no, not afternoon, it's evening. For this evening's tutorial, you are going to need wire, all right? You're going to need some thicker wire. This is 16 gauge. That's going to be for the actual Mermaid scales. You can use 16 or 18 for this. So I'm pretty sure that this one was 18, but in my flurry of trying to get ready for the stream, I couldn't find the 18, so we're going to do 16. This evening, you're going to need some chain, and your chain is going to be whatever length you want your necklace to be. You are going to need some kind of a clasp, and I'm going to use, I'm going to use a little S-hook clasp, and so we are going to attach it with a double-ended wire wrap. One of the most useful connections you can possibly learn. As far as tools go, you're going to need your basic beading tools. That is going to be all the tools that I don't have here in front of me right now. So bear with me for just a second. Haha, I'm back. Okay, so tools. Sorry, y'all. It's been a day. Oh, supper is being cooked while you watch the stream. What are you making, Lori? I want to know, but I don't want to know. So as far as tools, you're going to need your basics. That's going to be your round nose pliers, your chain nose pliers, and your wire cutters. Those are your basic wire working tools. You're also going to want a ring mandle or some kind of a dowel. We're not going to, we're going to use the smaller part of it. So just like a 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch dowel will work great. You're also going to need a chasing hammer. Chasing hammer, remember, is spay shell because the head of the hammer is convex. That means you can hit in the center of the hammer without, thank you so much, Kome, without making a tool mark from the hammer around the outside. And then, of course, you're going to need a hammering surface, which is your bench block or your bench block equivalent. So I'm going to start by cutting my wire. So for this particular project, I'm going to need 6 pieces of wire. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for this particular piece, I made all of these 2 inches long. Okay, so I'm going to cut 6 2-inch long pieces of wire. Now, depending on how large you want this kind of central sort of festoon to be, you can absolutely cut your wire longer or shorter, but I'm going to start with 6 2-inch pieces of wire. So that is 1, 2. Oh, rice and leftover smoked salmon. Oh, as somebody who hasn't really eaten all day, that sounds extra delicious. 3, 4, and 6. Okay, so this is 6 pieces of 16 gauge wire. Again, you could also use 18 gauge wire for this. All right, so it doesn't have to be 16 gauge. I think, pretty sure that 18 gauge is what I put on the internet as far as the supply list goes. But I couldn't find 18 gauge. I swear it's in there, but I don't know where. So that's why I've got 16 gauge. Okay, so now we're going to take our 16 gauge wire and we're going to bend it around our ring mandrel to make our little kind of U shapes. Okay, so we're going to bend it around our ring mandrel to make all of these fun little curved bits. Okay, so that means I'm going to take my ring mandrel, and once again, I'm going to be using just the very, very end of it. So I'm not going to be making particularly large U shape in terms of width. So I'm going to find the center of my wire, and I'm going to, okay, I think I need to switch my stream deck and my camera, because really I need my camera to be more where my broadcast is. Otherwise, it's just weird. So let's try this. See if this is better. Also, hey, new backdrop. I think I like this one better than the pink one, or apparently it looked orange for some people, but this is more my color. So we're going to see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to take my wire and we're going to hold the middle of it on the middle of our mandrel, and then we're just going to take our wire and bend it to make a U shape. And the important thing here is that you want your ends to be even, which I actually did a solidly decent job of. I'm very proud of the fact that my ends are actually even. So I have this U-shaped piece of wire with my ends that are ending at the same place. So now we're going to go ahead and repeat that for all 6 of my wires. So that's 1 down, 5 to go. I did decide to move down a little bit further on my mandrel just to make a slightly wider U. So just hold your wire there and then bend. And again, just make sure, if you can, that your ends are even. And of course, one of the keys to making this look good is making them all the same. Okay, so I failed. So let's fix that. Lori, you smoked other things besides salmon. I remember you listing them off and me being jealous. Scallops, and what else did you all smoke over the weekend? And also, again, if you could put together a care package and send it to Beating Dreams in Dallas, Texas, no one here would complain. Scallops, potatoes, and eggs. Oh, so did you make the smoked potato salad with the potatoes and eggs? Again, since I haven't eaten all day, I'm like, got food on the brain. So jelly. So jelly of the smoked potato salad. Okay, again, so holding against my mandrel, wrapping around, like so, and there's my U shape. One more. All right. So there we go. So that's 6 of those. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hammer them. So I'm going to grab my bench block or bench block equivalent. So bench block is, of course, just a really dense steel block upon which you hammer. Now, during quarantine, we had a lot of really innovative solutions for things to use instead of a bench block, because, of course, during quarantine, not everybody had a bench block, and not everybody could get a bench block because, of course, we weren't supposed to leave the house. So concrete, driveway concrete, sidewalk concrete definitely works. It's dense enough. You just have to be aware that it's going to make a texture on your metal. I think the most innovative bench block equivalent that I ran into during quarantine was somebody who was using her husband's free weights to hammer on, and that was pretty much brilliant. But you just need a really dense metal surface or concrete surface. Just, you know, don't hammer on your wood, you know, butcher block, because you're just going to destroy it. So this is my bench block. So I'm going to take my U-shaped pieces, and I've got a pillow for my bench block that's just going to help it be not so insanely loud. So I'm going to take my U-shaped pieces and I'm going to put them on my bench block, and I'm going to take my chasing hammer and use a flat side of my hammer to hammer them flat. So literally just going to pound them down. And I'm going to do the whole thing. Like, a lot of times when we do this, we don't hammer the ends, we just hammer the curve, but we're going to hammer the whole thing. That means I've got to be careful not to smash my fingies. So I'm going to just hold one end of it and put the other end of it on the bench block and just pound it with my hammer. And then I'm just going to switch it around, see how that hammering flattens it out, and do the other side. And again, I do want to hammer all the way to the ends like so. So I'm going to repeat that with my remaining 5 pieces of wire. Oh, and Lori made jam. Seriously, Lori, one of these days Heather and I are just going to show up at your door and we'll be like, ding, 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 feed us, please. Alright, so again, just hammering all my U-shapes flat. So that's 2 down, and we're going to go ahead and continue that for the remaining 4. Did not warn you all that it's about to get loud on stream, so if you need to mute me, please feel free. Alright, that's 3. 3 more to go. Ha! Okay, I'm officially, and I totally solicited all those comments from Lori, so I really don't have anyone to blame but myself. But not only blueberry and strawberry jam, smoked potato salad, smoked scallops, smoked salmon, but also salsa, antipasta, and peach jam. Yeah. My hungry self is just going to sit here and hammer things now. Because, wow. Let's see, I am having a bumper crop of cucamelons, which are a fun little fruit, also called Mexican sour gherkins. I did not plant these cucamelons. They, the previous tenant of the place that I rent was an avid vegetable gardener, and when I was cleaning up the vegetable garden, because of course the place had been untenanted for several months, because the previous tenant actually had passed away, and so her family was, getting her effects out and whatnot. So the garden had gone a little bit to the wildness, and so when I was cleaning up the herb garden, I found the remnants of cucamelon vines, and yay! Amy Annaby, drive safely home from Houston, please. So yeah, and then much to my delight and surprise this spring, the cucamelons just started growing again. I honest to goodness don't know if they came back from root or from seed, but seriously, there was like one mostly dead vine when I moved in, and now they are completely covering the side of the house. So bumper crop of cucamelons, which is exciting. It's always interesting, the first year with a new garden, it's always kind of an experiment. And so what I've learned this year is a whole lot of things not to do next year. But yeah, very exciting. The cucamelons are fun. They're adorable. Okay, so I've hammered out all 6 of my pieces. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the little loops that make them into the mermaid scale. So the one thing I need to remember is I just need to make sure I turn the loops big enough that my chain will go through them. All right, so that means I need my round nose pliers, and I'm going to grab my round nose pliers at the end of my wire like so, and I need to grab a little bit farther down on my pliers than I normally would, because once again I need to make sure that I make big enough loops that my chain will go through. And then I'm just going to brace against my thumb, and I'm going to apparently fling that at Heather. Except I can't actually hit Heather because I have a giant computer screen now.
It's true.
Between her and I. Did you survive? Hold on. Can we test the Heather cam?
Yes.
All right, let's test the Heather cam frame.
Oh goodness, this is not where I usually sit.
But hey, there's you. Okay, so take the camera, and it needs to go up a little bit because right now we see your nose, and there you go. There's your face. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
So there's a Heather cam. Yes, the new positioning of the Heather cam. So did you survive?
I totally survived, and it was delightful, and we were lamenting that we hadn't been able to hug me yet.
Got it. Okay.
Which was confusing at best.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, Heather, for throwing yourself on the grenade of sitting with those two clients while I was setting up my new streaming setup. And yes, Heather did definitely deal with a fairly difficult person, aka my mother, and then one of our delightful regular clients.
That's still cutting off part of my head. That's okay.
Well, hold on. I can put it back on, and you can adjust it. Do you want it back on?
Sure.
All right, we're putting the Heather cam back on.
Okay.
So Heather can get her entire head in the frame, not just most of her head, but the entire thing.
It would be a shame for me to get my hair done in 2 days and have part of it cut off.
Fair. That's fair. But actually, I think this, I don't know. You look nicer.
Okay.
So, all right. So then it needs to come up just a little bit.
To adjust
No, it can show your whole head. There you go. I also remind me to tell you, I figured out how to adjust the ring light on there. If you touch the lens, it makes the ring light go off and then low, medium, high. I don't know that the ring light actually makes a difference in seeing you, but anyway. Okay, thank you, Heather, for being on camera. Yay, all right, so we fixed the Heather cam, and now here we go with continuing on with our project. All right, so we've got our hammered out pieces and our round nose pliers, and we're just going to grab with our round nose at the end of one of our pieces of wire. Sorry, that's still that blood blister I gave myself on stream last week. And we're just going to brace with our thumb. Hold nice and tight so you don't slip like I keep doing. So here's the thing. If you keep slipping when you are trying to bend wire, move down a little bit on the wire, because when you cut it, it makes kind of a slope. And oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
And your pliers will slip off. So just leave yourself a little bit more wire, brace with your thumb, and roll over. Now, once you've reached this point, okay, you've reached the point where your wrist won't go any further, we're going to just loosen our pliers, roll it back, grab again, and roll until it's closed. Like so. If you've done like I've done and you kind of misaligned it, it's a really easy fix. Just take your chain nose pliers and squash it. Okay, so now here's where we're going to combine making our loops with assembling our mermaid scale. You can, if it makes more sense to you, you can do all of your loops and then open them and assemble your mermaid scale, but I like to kind of go progress as I'm going with the loops. So this is my bottom one. So this one, I'm going to just do 2 loops, not attach it to anything. Okay, so that's 1 loop and a second loop. Then I'm going to make the same way. We're going to roll, come back, roll, and there we go. Okay, and do make sure that, and this is a problem that I had on my prototype, is you really want to make sure that you close that loop. It's easy to just leave it open, as I've done still a fraction of an inch. Okay, you really want to make sure that that wire end is touching right there. Okay, so this is my bottom loop of my scale. So now this bottom one needs to get attached to these 2. So that means for each of these I'm going to make a loop, thread it through my bottom one, and then make another loop. So that looks like so. So I'm going to take my pliers, my round nose pliers, grab at the end. I'm going to make a loop. Again, important that it touches, and then I'm going to take my unlooped end. I'm going to thread it through the loop that I made in my bottom scale, and then I can make this loop here. Like so. Ta-da. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this side. So I'm going to make a loop, and then thread through like so, and then make a loop here. Okay, so we can see that mermaid scale starting to form. Now it's time for this one here. So this one, again, I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to thread through both of these and make another loop. So by both of these, I mean this one here and this one here. So loop, thread through this one and this one here, like that, and now we're going to make a loop there. Again, make sure your loops are completely closed. Okay, so we have this mermaid scale pattern forming. All right, this is what we've got so far. So then the next ones, we got 2 more. So we need 1 for each side. So it's going to be this one here and this one here. Sorry, that's the back side. But so again, make a loop on this one. Come back here. All right, so we're going to make a loop and we're going to thread through here and here. So on our little mermaid scale that we're making, that equates to here and here. So make a loop like so. And again, so your here and here is going to be, so basically here we've got 4 loops that are not attached to anything. So since we've got 2 pieces, we're going to just divvy those up 50-50. So that means this and this are going to be my thread throughs for this one. So there's 1, and hey, let's get it through the loop like so, and we're going to grab and roll. All right, and I'm going to repeat the same on the other side. So I'm going to take my U shape and I'm going to make a loop. And then I got 2 loops remaining that are free, not counting these top 2, because those are where my chain's going to go. So again, I'm going to go through those 2. Well, hey, Molly. It is nice to see you on this stream. So I'm trying a different backdrop. I definitely prefer the turquoise with my coloring, so I'm thinking this might be the permanent backdrop. Also, I'm again wearing your beautiful necklace, which I got tons of compliments on today. All right, so then we're going to take this free end and we're going to roll like so. Okay, so now we have, all right, so this is our mermaid scale pattern. All right, so now we have got 4 loops that are empty. They've got nothing in them, and this is where our chain's going to come in. So how long do I want this necklace to be? We're going to go with, I'm going to go with 16 inches. 16, 18. This is one of those necklaces that definitely, yay, I like the blue too. And I've got my new streaming setup. My computer arrived from Chicago with all of its beautiful USB ports, and I've got everything rejiggered in the streaming area, so I'm super excited. Heather Cam is set up, so yes, I'm very excited by the new streaming setup. Yay, I know, Molly is a wrapping crazy person. She's been doing amazing. All right, so we have chain. All right, any kind of fine link chain is going to work for this. I'm using just a regular, like a 2 to 2.5 millimeter cable chain. And like I said, 16 inches I think is what I want this necklace to be. It works best if it's higher. If it goes lower, it tends to kind of collapse a bit. So 16, 18 inches, thanks Molly, 16, 18 is a good length for this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. See, I also have my stream deck, so it's easier for me to change between scenes because I have so many USB ports on my new computer. It's very, very exciting. Though you missed earlier when I had to climb on chair on the other side of the computer to rejigger the microphone port because it didn't like where I plugged it in because it's princessy. Okay, so I'm going to cut 16 inches of chain once I add my clasp. That's going to equal out to about 18 or 17-ish inches of necklace. So if I were my wire cutter, I'd be here. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off. Okay, so now we get to our double-ended wire wrap. Now, for anybody who has been hanging out on the Beating Dreams stream for a while, you know that basic wire wrapping, in my not so humble, not so quiet opinion, is one of the most useful things you can possibly teach yourself. It's one of the most useful things that you can know as far as jewelry construction goes. So, as far as how to learn basic wire wrapping, we do have a couple of tutorials in our history that are going to be great for that. Go back on Twitch or Facebook and find anything that says back to basics wire wrapped whatever. Also, this does remind me that I probably should put a back to basics on for this upcoming week. So if you're not super familiar with this technique and you're not up to going back in our archives and searching everything that's back there, just wait till next week, and I promise I'll put a basic wire wrapping one on there, and then you can go from there. But I'm going to start with my 26 gauge wire. So when I'm doing a basic wire wrapped connection, like to add a clasp or something, I don't want to use the thickest wire possible because I don't want it to be incredibly obvious. So 24, 26 gauge are usually your gauges that you want to use. So 26 gauge wire, and I'm going to start with my round nose pliers. I'm going to take my round nose and I'm going to grab them. At the end of my wire, I'm going to leave about an inch or an inch and a half of wire sticking out the top of my round nose, and the remainder of my wire is below my round nose. Now, were I sitting in a normal working position, I would be holding this in front of me like so. Of course, I'm not because I'm showing it to my hand cam, which kind of distorts the perspective a bit, but yeah. So were I holding it normally, this would be above, this would be below. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm a right-handed individual, so my pliers are my right hand. My left hand is going to be my wire moving hand. I'm going to push my wire away from me over my pliers. So what I've done is I've made a 90-degree angle. You can see I have a nice sharp bend against those round nose pliers. Now I'm going to hang on to my wire so that it doesn't fall down. I'm going to loosen, rotate an eighth of a turn, and grab again with my pliers. So what I've done is I've grabbed right on the corner that I just made. Now I'm going to take this shorter wire, I'm going to pull it back up over the top of my pliers and down. So now what I'm doing is I'm starting to make a loop on those pliers. Now I need to finish the loop, but I can't because this pliers is in the way. So I'm going to loosen my pliers, rotate them out of the way, grab again, and then I can finish the loop. And that creates what we on the Beating Dreams stream like to call Our Lady with a Scarf. All right, so it's like a woman, were she in a lovely convertible with a dramatic scarf trailing out behind her. Now, my lady with a scarf is really just a useful way, like a useful term for me to identify, hey, I've made the loop. Now it's time to attach it to something. So I'm going to grab my piece of chain that I cut, my 16-inch piece of chain, and I'm going to catch the end link of my chain, which you can see right there, in my wire. That's my lady's scarf. I'm just going to catch that end link on the scarf, pull it all the way up the scarf wire and into my loop, like so. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. Chain nose, for anybody who's not familiar, are your grabbing, holding, and squashing pliers. So I'm going to grab and hold across my loop like so, and then I'm going to take this wire that is the scarf and I'm going to wrap it starting at the base of the loop and going down, stacking each coil beneath the coil before it. If you get a little bit of space like I did, you can just use your thumbnail to shove it up. And I'm going to do 2.5 to 3 wraps, which I have done. Now that I've done 2.5 to 3 wraps, I'm going to take my wire cutters and I'm going to trim my extra wire off like so and press down my pokey stabby, because we don't want any pokey stabby ends. Pokey stabby ends are no good. And I didn't do it. Look at that. Look how pokey stabby that still is. It's amazing. Now that my screen is my computer screen, my display screen, is basically twice the size that it was before, I can see all of the things that you all have been seeing on stream that I haven't been able to see because I've been working on a laptop that's like 15 inches. My new monitor is 27 inches. It's freaking giant and amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to make the second half of my basic wire wrap loop. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to place them so that they are touching the top of that wire wrap that I just made. And then we're going to go away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. Now, since I'm doing an S-hook, I don't actually need to link my clasp into this at this point, which is good. I just need to hold across. Well, apparently Amazon thinks it needs a wall mount, and then we're going to wrap. Yeah, so funny story. So I ordered this monitor. I actually ordered this monitor when I was in Chicago with my amazing tech support person who put together this whole beautiful streaming rig for me, basically out of spare parts that he had around his house, which is pretty fantastic. And so, you know, we decided that it would actually be probably more economical for me to just buy a monitor and have it sent to Beating Dreams than to ship the monitor in addition to the computer and everything else. So I ordered a monitor while I was still in Chicago. So this means that we're talking about last week, Saturday or Sunday. Maybe Monday. No, I think it was Monday before I went to the airport. And so it was supposed to get here by, it was going to take a little while longer, totally fine. I was supposed to get here by this Monday, 2 days ago. So I would have 2 days to set up my new streaming rig before I had to stream. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, well, Amazon chose to deliver to me, instead of the monitor that I ordered, a wall mount for a flat screen television, which is not as useful when one needs a monitor. Like the mount is great, but one needs something to mount on it, which I have a flat screen television at home, but I don't need a mount for it. So yes, so then there was a whole, chat with Amazon and I have to send back the mount, and then they did expedite shipping, at least for me to get a new monitor by today. So I do have my new monitor. It is giant and pretty, but it could have been set up 2 days ago. In this particular instance, I'm not last minute on purpose. I'm last minute because sometimes Amazon sucks. Okay, so I've got my double-ended wire wrap. Not on that end, haha, on this end. I've got my double-ended wire wrap of the end of my chain, and I can, at this point, if I want to, take my S-hook and I can hook it into Is there knocking on the door? I don't know. Amy said she might be coming in, but I don't think she's made it this far. Okay, so there's my S-hook. Now I'm going to take my chain. I could also be imagining things. I do that sometimes. And I've got 4 loops that are empty. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take my...
Nothing they have left.
Okay, then I probably just imagined it. All right, now I'm going to string through 1, and then it's going to fall out. 1, come on, 2, okay, so I got to string through those 2, and then this one, I just need to rotate this up, and I'm going to string through these 2 as well. So 3, and 4. Okay, so then pull that all the way through and just give it a little kind of shimmy shake, and it should settle out into, really? You were behaving so well, and then you were not. There we go. So it should settle out into your mermaid scale pattern. Now, if you wanted to, it would be really awesome to add some beads to this. You could add a bead here. You could drop beads from the bottom. You could add a bead here and here. So lots of fun ways that you can incorporate beads in this. But at this point, all we really need to make this a functional necklace is we need to add our second basic wire wrapped loop for our clasp. So for that, we're going to go back to the remains of our 26 gauge wire and our round nose pliers. So again, we're going to grab with our round nose pliers. So we got about 1 inch of wire at the top, and we're going to go away. Rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath, and that's lady with the scarf. Grab the other end of your chain, the end that has nothing attached to it as of yet. Catch the end of that chain in, or with, sorry, your scarf wire and pull it all the way up into the loop like so. Take your chain nose pliers, hold across your loop, and we're going to wrap. And you want to start at the base of the loop, and you just want to wrap downwards. And you want, 2.5 to 3 wraps. Then you're going to trim your extra off, tuck it in. By tuck it in, I mean just take your pokey stabby parts and just press them down. And then we're going to take our round nose pliers again. We're going to grab so that we are touching the wrap we just made, and we're going to go away. Rotate, back up over the top, rotate underneath. Again, that is the lady with a scarf. Hold across our loop like so. And then we're going to wrap down until we've met the end of wire that's already there. Like so. Trim your end off. And press down. So again, pokey stabby gets smashed down. So you can see the pokey stabby there. We just want to smash it down. There we go. And then this loop right here is going to become the receptacle for dun, 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 our S-hook clasp. There we go. All right, so that is, peoples of the internet, that is our mermaid scale necklace. All right, that's a fun one. It's super easy. It's way easier, I think, than it looks, which is, of course, my favorite kind of project. And it's a fun little statement piece to wear with a t-shirt or something that's fairly simple. And again, you could totally embellish this by adding beads, and it would be, Amy's getting gas and thought these were earrings. There's really no reason you couldn't make them as earrings. Just instead of adding a clasp, you'd have to take your chain and just bring it up and make something like that, that could absolutely be an earring. So yeah, big ass earrings, aka Big Amy earrings, absolutely. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us on the Beating Dreams Wednesday evening live tutorial stream. Thank you for helping us kick off our streaming week with this fun tutorial. We really appreciate you all so much. Also, thank you for being patient with me as I adapt to my new streaming rig. So, for anyone out there who doesn't know me, hey y'all, I'm Allison from Beating Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We are an actual brick and mortar retail bead store. We do have premises, like physical premises, on Lovers Lane in Dallas, and we are here to feed your need to bead Monday through Saturday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if you're local in Dallas, we would absolutely adore it if you would come and see us. If you're not local in Dallas, you can find us on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, 5 times a week with complimentary tutorials. We do stream Wednesday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, plus Thursdays at noon, and we do live merchandise sales every Wednesday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. So that means 2 things. Number 1, hey, I'm going to be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, with a live merchandise sale featuring randos, strandos, and possibly some other cool stuff, whatever I can grab in the next 30 minutes or so. So that's going to be a fun live merchandise sale. Of course, anybody who has been a witness to one of our live merchandise sales before knows that it's loads of fun, lots of silliness, and also great retail therapy. If you're not going to join us for the live sale, you can join us on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, tomorrow at noon for this project. This is very simple. This is our pierced spiral earrings. I did cheat a little bit on this one. It does involve a torch, even though it's not a Torch Thursday project. But only a little bit of torch, just a small bit of torch. So that's going to be tomorrow at noon. So it is time for me to get off of the tutorial stream. It's time for me to go and find things for the live merchandise sale, close up the store, get everything cleaned up, and I'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream. Just the tip of the torch, not the whole thing, just the tip. We'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream. In 30 minutes, it's going to be 7:45 for our live merchandise sale. So if you're going to attend the sale, make sure you grab yourself a cocktail if that's your thing. Grab yourself some hydration, maybe a snack. Get comfy, get cozy, and get ready for some bead retail therapy in the comfort of your living room, dining room, or wherever you are used to watching the Beating Dream stream. So everyone have a good 30 minutes, and we'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, for the sale in half an hour.